Hi Kevin, Jason again. Now, you've got the chassis out. I've shown you how to do that in the other video. Blade plug, hilt, and obviously the blade. So this is the important part, is to get the cover off here. Just looking at the camera, trying to get it in focus best I can. You'll see these two pins, one this side, the sharp point, stainless steel pin, and one this side. Most important tool for this sabre is a pair of pliers with a thin tip. Essentially what I do is we'll grab the tip of that little rod and give it a push, and then on the other side flip that over. I do the same thing, grab the tip, the pliers, and give it a push back like that, and it's just enough for the pins to appear on the back here. And then once they're on the appearing, you grab the pin with the pliers and give it a pull straight out. Try not to bend it, and you've got that one, and give it a pull straight out. That came out pretty easy, and that's it, all done. Now this cover will come off, and if it does stick to the board, because it is all pretty tight, you can just press down on the detail parts here. They stay with it, and then the cover comes completely off. See the cover, you've got your diffuser, the mesh, and all of that on the cover. Put that down, and then you've got the board inside there. And I've protected the board with some heat shrink here, some hot melt glue over the wires so they don't break off. This has obviously got the LED, green LED in it. Lifting this bit up, it's attached with wire. Just carefully, you get access to the USB port here, and you can lift that board up slightly and access the SD card, which is tucked in underneath the USB. You access that again with a small pair of pliers or a pair of tweezers. And putting it all back together is exactly the same as just in reverse. So what I end up doing essentially is making sure the board's in nicely. This detailed part is sitting flush and not pinching any of the wires, and I hold that down. You can let it go gently, it'll lift up a little bit. Obviously when you plug in the USB, you'll need to power up the board. So there we go, it's powered up, and then it'll all work and communicate with the PC. And then just putting this on just requires a little bit of fiddling around, making sure this detail part's all nice and square in there. And then I just check that the sides here are sitting down and the switch is all in its position. And on this side, again, checking the detail part is nicely in position here. You can get in there and make sure that that's nice, and then pressing down on the back. Then these rods are sharpened on one end. The sharp end goes in first. Obviously that lines up, and it'll go in, and pressing down on the cover nice and firmly. You don't want to stab yourself, but that's started to go in there. And then I do the other side at the same time, checking which one's the sharp one, that one there, so that's going in. So that's all heading on its way in, and then I grab my pliers again and pressing down on the cover. I start very low to the back of the sabre and just gently push it through. You will see the rod coming through here, and then it comes in through to the next section to hold it down. I basically push all the way through just before it gets to the next section, and then turn over, start the other side, which is fairly easy, and then in that goes. It's going in, pressing down again here. This one's a little bit harder on this side, nice, and then right at the end I just push, and right at the end with the flat side of the pliers, give it a push till it's nice and flush with the back here. And that's done. The cover's back on, and then you can obviously turn the sabre back on. See that it all worked. It's your font that you sent to me, the Graflex 4. And this one has the colour changing.
Orange blade, magenta blade.
Obviously powering it on. Blade plug. You can drop in while it's live, doesn't matter. Here. Fast flash here means that Bluetooth is not paired. Pairing Bluetooth, I've got a different app on my iPhone. Just trying to get that to log in. Running my app on the iPhone, connect, the save will come up, MB-Graflex, pressing it.
Bluetooth connected.
See now we've got a slow flash there. Turning the saver on, the red light just means that it's communicating, sending a message. Do things like turn the saver on,
White blade.
change the colour, different effects. The phone's locked up, it's not good. Anyway, it's still connected to Bluetooth, turn it off. Changing the fonts.
Graflex.
Some of the other things, a long press while it's horizontal on the aux button takes it back to a previous preset. That makes it go forward.
Graflex.
Holding it upright, long press,
Power level 3.78 volts.
which is the voltage 3.78. Holding it downwards and doing a long press
Volume 10%.
changes the volume from 75% to 10%. It's the volume muted, almost muted, you can just hear it.
Volume 100%.
Volume 100%, then I'm back to
Graflex,
Oops.
TFA HD.
Volume 75%.
volume 75%, that's the default volume setting. Long press on this one, plays the music, and then short press, turn the saber on. Music's still playing. Long press on this one, does the fourth sound.
That you will never be as strong as Darth Vader.
Long press on the auxiliary, there's a lock up, and you just keep locking up until you hit a button to cancel it. And some short press is the blaster. Turning it off. Long press turns the music off.
The Graflex awakens by no stop.
Moving through the fonts. Obviously you can put the blade in now. The blade is a tight fit, which is good. There's a little cover on the blade, there's the connector. Blade goes in, nice and tight. And then this is the calibrate font. Just trying to get a good shot of it. It's difficult in the room and the space I've got. And just turning that on. An idea for the pulsing. Again, see the blade, nice even blade.
Green blade, blue blade,
Twisting it,
silent
changing the
blade.
colour.
Crystalline Workshop.
It's the slow one.
Welcome. Chassis
I'll point it out here.
Crystal 4 exposed. Repair and maintenance mode operational. Cause. Repair failed. Insufficient BTV.
Change the colour actually while it's going out.
138. Please redrop.
You can change the colour coming back in. A couple of smooth swing fonts that I've got. Again, putting it on, off, taking the blade out so you can see it. Swing it around a bit, turning it on. Give you an idea. Different fonts. There's a lot of fonts installed. There's room for more. It's a big SD card inside, and the memory is about 75% full. All the effects have got colour changing with the twist, and I've got a number of different blade styles all defined for you, so adding a font is extremely easy. Yeah, that's about it. In terms of the battery, it's a similar Similar way to get the battery cover off. You've got obviously the side rods here that I showed you before. You push down. The battery ones are actually in here, hidden in there. You've got to get a little screwdriver or a little tool to push that rod back, and then they'll come out the back here, and then you pull them through and that battery cover comes off. There's one little bit of detail I've missed, which is a rod that runs down through here that I'll add in there. That'll be brass or copper depending on the rod I've got. It'll look okay. And then the sabers all pretty much finished. The recharge port here, so make sure the saber's off, and you plug in the charge port, and that just goes straight into USB. Any standard USB charger will charge this at 0.5 milliamp. Take a couple of hours to charge to a full battery, and I wouldn't let the battery run under 3 volts. You'll get about 30-minute run time out of the saber, depending on the colour of the blade. A single colour, obviously a little bit longer. A cyan, which is mixing 2 colours, you'll get a little bit shorter time. Yeah, that's about it. So just putting it all together, obviously undoing the hilt, carefully sliding this in, lining it up nicely. Just check that alignment. Once that's aligned, sorry, you'll see a small gap there. That's to ensure that this switch can still operate. You then grab the glass eye and get that in. Again, this can be a little bit tricky because the threads on these replicas aren't nearly as good as the originals. That should screw all the way in, and then obviously if you put the blade in, that's going to hit there now, so what I'll do is back that off, get the blade in all the way. There we go. Press down, tighten that right up as tight as you can. Sharp edge on there, you can cut your finger. Just be careful, and turning the saber on.
The Force Awakens.
Just got to make sure that gap's right for this switch to work. So you may have to pull that back once it's all together.
Graflex, TFA HD.
So that what I'm doing there is what I'm saying is grabbing this and pulling it back this way to ensure this switch has got enough room to move.
The Graflex Awakens.
Select your font, turn your saber on. Clash sounds all working. And then obviously putting the rear cover on, carefully sliding this on, getting it round the right way, locking it in, checking that's 90 degrees to the bunny ears and the clips lined up correctly, and doing that up, and there's your finished saber. Getting it apart, much the same thing. And you can see in the rivet slots, you can actually see the glowing red strip. It just lines up absolutely perfectly with the rivets, which is a coincidence. And obviously, yeah, getting the blade out, you loosen off the glass eye, pulling the blade out, and then obviously you can put the blade plug back in, tighten up that glass eye, blade plugs in, and then turning the saber off. You can only take the back section off if you want to, which means you don't get to see the crystal chamber, and then off, and then sliding that back on, lining that up nicely, saber's off. Oops, that card lined up. There we go, and we're all done. In terms of the stand, the stand's a multi-tiered stand. I generally put the sabre on the stand like that, and the hilt here, and then the chassis down the bottom. Looks quite nice. Jedi stand. As I say, I might take that apart just to flat pack it. Yeah, and that's about it. Alright, thanks Kevin, and I'll be shipping it off real soon, possibly today or this afternoon or tomorrow, depending on my schedule. Cheers.